Have you ever jumped into something new, totally excited, filled with confidence, only, for a couple of weeks to pass by and realize that you are way over your head? Yeah, that's how I felt when I first started homeschooling. And in this video, I want to share with you what I wish I knew about homeschooling before I started. But before we get into it, I just wanted to let you know that this video is part of a homeschool collab hosted by Davene from Calm in the Chaos and Shauna from the Homegrown Homeschool. And if you haven't checked out their channel yet, make sure you do. And there's a playlist link down below where you can check out what other homeschoolers wish they knew before they started homeschooling. So let's get into it. So as a former middle school history teacher, when I first started homeschooling, I started out very conventionally. We had schedules, I had made lesson plans, I followed the scope and sequence of curriculum, we had quizzes and tests, you name it, we did it. And I was determined to stick to my schedule in the beginning, and that did not work out. My kids had other plans, and that's okay. You kind of live and learn, right? Like, it's all trial and error. It doesn't matter how much advice you get about how or what to do. You really don't learn until you actually try doing it and learning from your mistakes. And so if I were to give my former self advice, I would say that, homeschooling is just trial and error. I would not tell myself not to do something, but I would tell myself that it's okay to make mistakes and learn from them and move on. So what worked for us is that over time, we switched from schedules to routines or rhythms. And, instead of at 10 a.m., we're going to do math. At 11 a.m., we're going to do language arts. Instead, it was like, after we start our day, we will cover math, language arts, and reading, and that's it. However long each of those tasks take, that's how long they take. And so our routine was a lot more fluid. And with that fluidity, we were able to accomplish more. There was less headaches, there was less struggle, there was more time for play, there was more time for interest-led learning. And so we were able just to do things on our own time. And that made homeschooling so much better. So much better. And then that leads me to planning. Like, I'm not into the day-to-day planning that I used to do when I was a teacher. Now my planning has changed tremendously, where it's very open and flexible. I do a big picture plan, which I find helpful for me, just being able to see the big picture. Then I'm easily able to see where all the parts fit in. So the big picture plan helps me visualize our goals and just to see where we're headed so that we do stay on track. And it does help me and my kids, because my kids are involved in it as well. It just helps us know where we're going when we're not too big into planning, if that makes sense. And involving my kids in lesson planning is a game changer. Like, they are more motivated to learn and to do the assignments that we have. And we don't really do assignments. That's the thing. It's really hard to explain our homeschool because it's just very open and fluid. And I just kind of go where my kids kind of lead me. Now, we still do subjects like math, reading, and writing where we do more focused learning, I guess, but it's not what you would see in a traditional classroom. And having my kids be a part of the planning process and goal setting process allows them to take ownership of their learning, which I think is really important, because our goal as homeschoolers is to create lifelong learners, and you're not going to do that by force feeding your kids. They have to want to learn. They have to want to be curious, etc. So when kids feel like they have a say, they feel more invested in the endeavor. So I think it's important to give your kids a say, even if they're little. Like, I have a little 4-year-old, and she helps with the planning process too. So I asked them at the beginning of a school year, like, what do you want to learn? What do you want to do? So we try to weave that into our day-to-day homeschooling. So these are just a couple of lessons I've learned during our homeschool journey. And it's not always easy, but it is easy at the same time. I think when you're dealing with humans, like, emotionally, it's not easy because you have all these feelings and emotions and hormones and learning from mistakes, etc. Sibling rivalry, all that stuff. That's not easy. But homeschooling itself is easy. But just remember, there's no one size fits all. I know there's people out there saying, this is what you have to do. to homeschool. This is what you need. This is what you need to buy, blah, blah, blah. No, you just use trial and error and you figure out your own route. Make it effortless, make it simple, and you're on your way to homeschool success. But if you want to find out more homeschooling lessons I've learned, make sure you check out this video right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.